In gaming, plenty of acclaimed adventures will only take a few hours of your time. On the other side of the spectrum, there are some behemoth titles that could keep you busy past the 100-hour mark, perhaps even much longer. Would you rather sit on one title for over 100 hours, or would you rather be done with it as quickly as possible? If you're on the first group, then you're in luck. I'm Josh, welcome to HotFix Gaming. Today, we're looking at some of the best games worth spending 100 plus hours on. In no particular order, let's start with number 13, Skyrim. Skyrim is by far the easiest game to get sucked into and forget to even eat or sleep. Even today, 13 years after its release, many players still enjoy, play, watch, and even stream this title. Yes, there have been speedrunners who have exploited the game's bugs in order to finish Skyrim in record time. But really, where's the fun in that? This is the type of game in which you should really let yourself be distracted by side quests and various adventures, rather than trying to finish it as fast as possible. Plus, think of all the fun that you can have with the various mods and what crazy memes they can turn into. Number 12, Dragon Quest Builders 2. Think about JRPG, but give it Minecraft elements. And there you have it, folks, Dragon Quest Builders 2. Granted, it does look a bit cartoonish, but this game can easily have you spend 100 plus hours firmly planted at your couch. With a fun story and lots of foraging, mining and crafting, you're guaranteed to have a great time. Even though the combat is a bit weak and the controls can be frustrating at times, it manages to be both a great construction game and an engrossing, fully fledged RPG with tons of memorable areas and characters. And surprisingly or not, you don't need to play the previous installments in order to understand the story of this one. 11. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. The Yakuza Like a Dragon franchise has always delivered small but dense open worlds, showing that size does not really matter all that much. 2024's Infinite Wealth is by far the biggest game in Sega's series, delivering an overwhelming amount of content that should keep players engaged for a very long time. A direct sequel to Yakuza Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth drops Ichiban in an alien setting as he finds himself in Hawaii, which is a nice change of pace. The main story is epic, long, and packed to the brim with memorable characters, a statement that mostly holds for most Yakuza projects. As always, Infinite Wealth is also stuffed with sub-stories and mini-games, the latter of which are shockingly deep considering they can be largely ignored if players wish to do so. Probably the one feature of the game that many players love and spend lots of time in is the Dondoko Island feature, which is basically the Animal Crossing mode of Infinite Wealth. Here, players can build their own town, hang out with mascots, receive guests, entertain them, and so much more. 10. Days Gone. Days Gone got lost in the PS4 exclusive shuffle and garnered a polarizing reception at launch. The zombie open-world game centers around Deacon St. John, a biker who goes on a journey to track down his supposedly deceased wife. A surprisingly character-driven piece, Days Gone's lengthy campaign does have some pacing issues and a slow start, but things do pick up after a couple of hours. Even if the narrative fails to hit the spot with someone, they can at least look forward to driving their bike across the beautiful world while they try to avoid the undead hordes. 9. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Black Flag is best remembered for introducing the series' naval gameplay and for its open world that invited you to explore as much as possible. It's set 2 centuries after Ezio's trilogy and roughly 40 years before the previously released Assassin's Creed 3. Surprisingly, when user Def Punter took to Reddit to open a poll about which Assassin's Creed game is the best, Black Flag won by a country mile. It seems that many players still love this game, even after so many years since its release. The DLCs that were added later on just further added to the story and improved the experience for many players. Who doesn't love a good pirate story? Oops, sorry, they preferred to be called privateers, not pirates. 8. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. To put it simply, Tears of the Kingdom is basically Breath of the Wild on steroids. It has a bigger map, more gameplay mechanics, and continues the story in a way that is both intriguing and extremely entertaining. There's so much more to do there, and if you're bored, you can always just use the Ultra Hand ability and your imagination to craft some crazy contraptions. In fact, if you do a little search on YouTube, you'll probably find plenty of inspiration in the hundreds of players who have done some of the weirdest and funniest builds in the game. 7. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Probably one of 2024's biggest games so far. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth features a whopping 14 chapters, each of which takes at least a few hours to complete. While this may amount to an average of 50 to 60 hours in order to complete the game, if you're a completionist, this could easily take over 100 hours. Rebirth takes everything from 2020's remake and expands upon it to create a dense journey full of beautiful locations, engaging side activities, and staggering character growth. It's a massive game that simultaneously sets up the final chapter while knowing how to have a good time along the way. 6. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. While the main story makes up roughly 50 hours of the game, the side quests help to more than double the amount of time needed to do everything there is to do. The lore is incredible, the graphics have received an update for next-gen consoles, and if you're feeling courageous, you can even invest some extra time in trying to romance both Yennefer and Triss. Just a fair warning, it might not end up well for you. The Game of the Year edition of this title easily packs almost 200 hours of gameplay. So if you're in a pinch, The Witcher 3 is always a great option for a long single-player game. 5. Red Dead Redemption 2. Recognized for its story-driven narrative and semi-linear gameplay, Red Dead Redemption 2 is deserving of all of its critical acclaim. The story follows Arthur Morgan, a veteran outlaw who joins the Van der Linde gang. This cinematic western is ranked amongst the best games ever made. RDR2's main story takes players on a long and moving journey, one defined by growth, tragedy, and betrayal. Arthur's storyline will take up a lot of time, but that's just scratching the surface of what can be done in Rockstar's game. 4. Fallout New Vegas. When it comes to main stories, Fallout New Vegas is the longest entry in Bethesda's franchise, as well as the one entry the majority agrees is the best in the series. Obsidian's spin-off is generally hailed as the best post-Fallout 2 entry, particularly due to its implementation of actions and consequences that make the player's decisions seem important. As with most Bethesda games, New Vegas's content and longevity go well beyond the base content, at least on PC. These titles are kept alive for years through active modding communities that add a plethora of fresh material, including stuff like quests. 3. Elden Ring. From Software stated that Elden Ring would take around 30 hours to beat. Once the game launched, players quickly realized that the developers drastically undershot this estimation. Elden Ring is a game that feels like it never ends, probably because you keep dying and have to respawn. Just when you think you've seen everything the map has to offer, you uncover multiple new areas with their own legacy dungeons, catacombs, and quests to boot. Elden Ring will keep you busy for dozens, if not hundreds of hours, especially if you want to experiment with multiple builds. And in co-op and PvP, it's easy to see how this game has such a long estimated playtime. Plus, the recently released DLC, which came out on the 21st of June, adds easily an extra 30 hours of gameplay. 2. Cyberpunk 2077. We've talked about this game before on the channel, but it bears repeating. The new version and DLC is an absolute must, especially if you love longer games. When it first released, it felt like this was the end for CD Projekt Red, but somehow they've managed to really turn it around, and now, dare we say, Cyberpunk could easily pass as Game of the Year contender. So, wake up samurai, you've got a city to burn. And yes, we know that phrase was only included in the trailer, and you won't hear it in the game. Maybe it's for the best. Can you imagine Keanu saying that each time you die and respawn? Number 1. Baldur's Gate 3. To see everything that Baldur's Gate 3 has to offer means you would have to quit playing any other game for at least a year or two. And that's a generous estimate. This game is so massive with its different character interactions, romance options, side quests and such that it took most of the gaming community a month to get through the first act. But what else would you expect from a Dungeons & Dragons video game? Developer Larian Studios has said that it'll take the average player between 75 and 100 hours to finish a single playthrough. But again, if you want to experience as much as there is in Baldur's Gate 3, you might be going for a second campaign. Also, since we're talking about this game, did you know that Baldur's Gate has become quite popular among the BookTok community? Mainly because of the excellent writing, but also due to a certain sassy elf vampire. You know you have a good title when both game nerds and book nerds love it just as much. What other games over 100 hours long do you think are worth our time? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you enjoy gaming content and want more, check out our top 10 best DLC expansions worth playing on the PS5 video, as well as our best PS5 games to play right now. Both videos are linked on screen.